Hey y'all. So, what category are we on? I believe we are on communication. Sure, we'll go with that one. Communication. So, there are two things we need to talk about. The signal and the signaling threshold. So, this song is annoying right now. That is fine. Yeah, so we need to know what the signal looks like and the how the signal sends. So, knowing how the signal sends and what the signal is, I mean, obviously the signal is virtual, but we need numbers to plug into equations so that the signaling threshold can be reached. Okay. So, let's just say the signal is sent at 5 tans. Not the geometrical tan. I just looked at Catan right there and I just made a thing up. So it's the signal sends at 5 tans, and it sends down its axon. That's the how, and that's the what. So then we need to figure out what the signaling threshold would be. So this would require some math on the initial steps of this process of designing and developing an AI, where we would have to know the organization of the complex network. Once we know the organization, or once we hypothesize, once we make a theory, no, just a hypothesis. Once we make an hypothesis on how many connections there will be on average, how linked a particle of interest is to other particles sending signals down their axon to the particle of interest. Once we know the average amount of signaling a particle gets, an interacting gets, once we know that, then we can set the signaling threshold. A lot of the things that are going on in this thing, it seems like we have to already know information about the way the system behaves. This is a much better song. So, yeah, we need to decide what the signal strength is and like how the signal affects the signaling threshold of the preceding particle. Yeah. So let's just say it would take 60 tans for a particle to have its signaling threshold reached. So that means there needs to be 60. That means there would need to be 8 successful signals sent into the particle, and that would mean that there would have to be at least 8 signals being sent to the particle through dendritic connections from the particle of interest. But because not all 8 of them are going to be signaling at the exact same time into the particle of interest, that means there's probably going to be, like, I don't know, we would have to have assumed to make the 60 tans and the 5 tans, to make those numbers, we would have had to have assumed that there would probably be like 16 connections going into a single particle. Alright, that is my summary of the communication aspect of the CNCEUL. You know, this stuff. See y'all.